Hey Grace family, and welcome back to our Midweek Check-In. So last Sunday we had a standalone sermon where we had a conversation about being filled with the Holy Spirit. And so we talked about the difference between being indwelt by the Holy Spirit. So everyone who's a follower of Christ has the Holy Spirit within us, but there's a difference between being indwelt by the Spirit and being filled with the Spirit. So we had a little bit of an introductory conversation about what that looks like and ways that we can live that out. But one thing that we landed on as far as an application point was from 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 and verse 17 that talks about praying without ceasing. And so I just wanted to encourage you in that in the middle of your week to begin practicing that, because when we engage in prayer, what we're really doing is we're emptying ourselves of self and bending our knee to His will, and that's what being filled with the Spirit is all about. And we can't do that without prayer, so we've got to be able to do that continually so that we can experience that filling of the Spirit. Within that, I found myself reading a chapter in the book Spiritual Leadership by J. Oswald Sanders. And he has a chapter in there on prayer, and I wanted to read a quote to you and just kind of encourage you with a little bit of a different perspective. So he says this, he says, "The most common excuse for little time spent in prayer is the list of to-dos that crowd our day, all our many duties. To Martin Luther, an extra load of duties was reason enough to pray more, not less. Hear his plans for the next day's work." And he quotes Martin Luther, who says this, "Work from early till late. In fact, I have so much to do that I shall spend the first 3 hours in prayer." You know, I think in our own busy schedules, a lot of time, if we have a day that's jam-packed, maybe one of the first things to go is our quiet time with the Lord. But for Martin Luther, when he had so much to do, it gave him extra reason to get up early and spend the first 3 hours in prayer. So I just wanted to encourage you in that the next time that your day is so jam-packed and full, make sure that you're setting aside time to be with the Father and to engage with Him in prayer, and then pray without ceasing throughout the day, because as I've already said, that's where we can empty ourselves of self, to be filled with the Spirit, and to do these things, to live on mission, to love, to speak, to invite. We're living out His will, His way, and with His power, rather than trying to do that ourselves and for what we want and with our power and our own strength. And that's the difference between being indwelt by the Spirit and filled with the Spirit. So I just want to encourage you, try this week, each and every day, pray without ceasing, and we're going to see what that being filled with the Spirit is all about. So looking ahead to this next Sunday, we are going to be back in Philippians chapter 4, and we're going to look at the next 2 phrases. So we're going to look at whatever is lovely and whatever is commendable. So look at that, study that ahead of time, come ready to learn. And in the meantime, don't forget to pray without ceasing, be filled with the Spirit, and be active in God's will for your life. So have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you Sunday morning at 9 a.m.